God have mercy on this video. Here we are. Hi. So, very quick video, I suppose. Paige Jacobs here. Let's get into it. So, Faithfully Yours, Mozart, the courtship, the book is here. And it's big. It's massive. It's big. Bigger than I expected. But you know, I'm learning slowly today that maybe that's an okay thing. I also want to say that if you are one of the first 11 people who have purchased this novel, first off, thank you so much for being one of the first 11 people to have purchased Faithfully Yours, Mozart. It's imperfect. There are so many imperfections with this book. And I have been going through it, and I want to kind of explain, not just, you know, where I'm going to be putting this. I'm going to be putting this on all kinds of social media platforms. But I want to explain that if you have the first edition of this, because I've made a manuscript change, and I tried to catch as many of the mistakes as I could. It's out there to be published now, you know. And there's this thing about society where if it's not perfect, if something is not perfect, society doesn't want it. And there are imperfections. You know, it's so interesting that I'm going through now again. And it's so interesting now that I'm going through this and I am trying to catch all the mistakes and I'm trying to smooth it out. And, you know, it's something that I was already trying to do and had already been doing for the last 13 months that I had been writing Faithfully Yours, of course. But, you know, I'm independent. I'm not rich enough to hire an editor, and I don't want an editor. I can catch the mistakes. A lot of times I actually catch them very easily, but over the past year and a half I have been facing chronic eye issues, and they came on quite suddenly last year, in 2023 for me. And so if you are, again, one of the 11 people who purchased particularly the first version that was out there, the one that I had made a last minute edit to because I thought that there were problems, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that there are some format errors. You will see it if you are one of the first 11 people who have bought this book. And anyone subsequently after that, I'm trying my best right now. Thank goodness I have this physically in front of me. I'm going through it. I'm looking for little things that I can quickly fix and put out there, because thankfully, since I am working through Amazon, you know, Amazon's KDP program, they allow me to edit my manuscript and to re-upload even when it's been published, so thank God for that. But you know, it's so funny. The year before last, I had somebody come into a production of mine, and they specifically attacked a project that I had done because they were so high and mighty and they wanted everything to be perfect. And they couldn't be proud of what they were coming in to be a part of because it wasn't up to their standards of perfection. And now here I am, afraid of the mistakes that the first 11 people who have bought this book will see. You will see there is a spelling error. There is errors of dialogue. There are so many imperfections. There are so many things that are not perfect about this book, including the fact that it's massive. They wouldn't let me on Amazon. For some reason, this manuscript, I suppose, was too big for a regular-sized book, so it's big. It's a big book. And that was both shocking and disappointing and surprising and terrifying, and I was scared that I would be a laughing stock. But, you know, there are a lot of imperfections, but for 2024, I have been trying to put out there that I thrive in my imperfections. That everything I create does not have to be perfect, and that everything I create does not have to be done to somebody's standards. I don't have to have an editor. I don't have to have a cover art creator. I don't have to have somebody who goes through and decides that they don't like how I've written a particular word or phrase, and they don't like my style of writing, and they don't like blah, 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 blah. And it's not to those standards. It's to nobody's standards, in fact. It's to my own. And although I see the imperfections, and I'm going to try to correct them because I know how things are properly formatted, I have enough experience and I have enough confidence in myself as a writer to know that I can do this and I can do it well. But when you're faced with a chronic health condition, sometimes you miss things. And when you have a right eye that likes to blur and tear up and have spontaneous abrasions in it on occasion, you will get problems. You will get hiccups. And so this book, for as beautiful as it is, if you own of this particular version, you will see errors. And I think that at this point, it's just kind of like, well, you kind of have to just accept that that's there. I also didn't want the price that it is to be the price that it is. I was hoping to price this maybe at like $12, you know, like, but they wouldn't let me do that. 14 was the minimum that I could do. And to do it any other way would be too expensive. It's crazy. Kindle books, hardcover, they're all very pricey. Paperback is like cheap. This 14 was the cheapest I could go. The whole point to this video is I will do a proper, you know, sort of video about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and the launch of the paperback. But right now, I'm currently going through, you know, I'm treating this like a proof copy, even though it's not. Going through and looking for the little sort of like nuggets and problems and things that I can do to, you know, make the next customers who ever get this book, you know, next, get it as polished and as pristine as I can, you know, without worrying about other things that I just don't have time or I can't really do without, you know, interrupting somebody's order. So once again, to the first 11 people who bought this book, thank you. But I also want to say I am so sorry for some of the errors that you will see. I'm trying to go through, I'm trying to fix, I'm trying to, you know, correct, but I can only do so much. So, and I can only do so much a year ago, a year or two ago when I was writing this initially as an audio drama. It was not meant to be a book, but I couldn't get anybody to join me for the audio drama, the official one, so I just decided, well, I'm going to turn it into a novel. And there are times where it still feels like that script, and I know that, but I put this out there. It's my first debut novel, and it's bound to have some kinks. It's bound to have its beautiful imperfections. But the beauty of the subject matter is that the person himself was beautifully imperfect. And that's what matters to me, is that it is for all of us who are beautifully didactic. So I hope that despite its flaws, you love it, and that, or that you come to love it, you know? So anyway, just a quick video, more soon, and more officially soon, I promise. And this is Faith Jacobs, signing off.